Nebananta hanen kichana slater die tais kanda beshmas anya na chakone bichhasti Spring State of the Navajo Nation address no beshmas an hodoshes anrigi shata inishigi don le shaketa satanigi do at and the Neba Washington shata inishigi ay beskitna hosne aro dina delia no horoshi jo horo e denebananta Dr. Nygren horoshi belagana kachin kitchen nedesh hot end ishido ba hodano sendia si yego nizra go belagana bakao begin astroigi ben in belagana do denebazad al neho e start as ahla keto kiti ben in horoshi do belagana kache in kitchen hanede shlito yat in hidini do horoshi ha hodoljish Spring State of the Navajo Nation Address to the Navajo Nation Council. Navajo Nation President Dr. Nygren, April 15, 2024. Madam Vice President Rochelle Montoya, Madam Speaker Crystalline Curley, Madam Chief Justice Joanne Jane, members of the 25th Navajo Nation Council, visiting dignitaries and guests, my Navajo people, Yat-e. Let me first welcome the 176 electrical workers, linemen from 26 utilities from around the country. They arrived April 6 for Light Up Navajo 5. Since this generous multi-aid program began in 2019, hundreds of Navajo homes have been wired and are receiving electricity for the first time. This year's goal is to electrify 300 more homes. To all of you and your companies, the NTUA Management Board and General Manager Wally Haas, I extend my heartfelt appreciation and say thank you. Office of Tax Commission. 1 year ago, I reopened the Navajo Nation after nearly 3 years of economic slowdown because of COVID. Our employees and chapter workers returned to work to provide much-needed services to our people, and our businesses fully reopened. By the end of 2021, because our nation had been closed to visitors and our non-essential employees had to work from home, our tax revenue fell to $108 million. As the pandemic eased and our government reopened, we saw our tax revenue rise by 42% to $143.2 million in 2023. With our 9 taxes, Tax Commission Director Effiat City reports we've collected $66.7 million this fiscal year, which is 59% of our fiscal year projected revenue. This is good considering we haven't entered the high spending summer season in the second quarter of fiscal year 2024. We've collected $28 million in tax revenue. I remain optimistic that with more Americans traveling again, our sales tax revenue will outperform 2023. Economic development. On April 23rd, we will close on the acquisition of Goulding's Lodge. The project is expected to bring an annual net income to the Navajo Nation of $7.3 million. With Monument Valley as its backdrop, Goulding's is a world-class property with 152 guest rooms, RV grounds, campsites, and a restaurant. This purchase ensures the retention of 280 local jobs and local purchasing from the area artists. It is my hope this major property will grow to take advantage of the ever-expanding tourism industry in the Southwest and Navajo Nation. Thank you, members of the Council, for your foresight and dedication for revenue generation that ensures a strong Navajo Nation. We are working to complete construction of the Shanto La Quinta Hotel this summer. The hotel is located at the US 180 and Arizona Route 98 junction between Tuba City, Page, Kayenta, where thousands of tourists pass through. Earlier this month, I approved $3.4 million in ARPA funding to finish Phase 3 construction of the 82-room hotel. Guiding its development is Michael Carnell, CEO of Medallion Hospitality, who was born in Ganado and raised in Keams Canyon. I appreciate his knowledge of the Navajo Nation and his employment of Navajos as his other award-winning hotels in Gallup and Durango. The Navajo Nation is always open to working with people who will increase our revenue, work with our people, and are dedicated to strengthening our great nation. Veteran Affairs. We continue to make progress serving our Navajo veterans. So many of our veterans won't need to travel long distances to Albuquerque, Phoenix, or Prescott to receive primary VA health care. They can receive it here at home. In January, the Northern Arizona Veterans Administration opened its first clinic at the Chinle IHS Hospital. On March 20th, it opened its second VA clinic at the Kayenta IHS Hospital. These primary care clinics provide face-to-face health care to our Navajo veterans, save them and their families money, travel time, wear and tear on their vehicles. Soon, 2 more clinics will open later this year. For this, I thank CEO Steve Sample of the Northern Arizona Veterans Administration Healthcare and Chief Medical Officer Kevin Gaines of the Navajo Area Indian Healthcare Services Office. Working with our Navajo Veterans Administration, their concern for our Navajo veterans is making this possible. Processing veteran payments. We are working to get our veteran payments out quicker with guidance from HESI and BNF. Navajo Nation Veteran Administrator Director Bobby Ann Baldwin identified the company Eagle Sun to help us issue veteran checks, much like the process of the TANF program. All of us want to do what we can to make life better for the Navajo veterans and our families, those we know and those we work alongside. Many continue to struggle with internal wounds and memories from their service. Our veteran office has been conducting talking circles with our vets in Fort Defiance, Central Agency, and in Tuba City. This provides a safe space for our veterans to come together, talk, heal, process their wartime experiences with those who have had similar experiences. Between 8 to 30 veterans usually attend the talking circles. We need to do more to support our veterans. I ask everyone here today to join me, Director Baldwin, and our veterans on Memorial Day, Monday, May 27, as we rededicate the Navajo Nation's Veterans Memorial Park in their honor. Chinle Warriors Nursing Home. Those most vulnerable are our elderly veterans. My administration will continue our advocacy to seek funding for the next phase of the Chinle Warriors Nursing Home. I will pursue grants like the one we applied for through the U.S. Veterans Administration last Thursday for $54.2 million. This is the first time any tribal nation applied for this funding that will help us get the Warriors home built. I am proud to work on this on our Navajo Nation veterans' behalf. I want to continue the ongoing collaboration with the Navajo Nation Council for the first phases of the construction of the Warriors' home. Veterinarian Medical Officer hired. The Division of Natural Resources made a significant hire, one that addresses the long-standing need for veterinarians of the Navajo Nation. On February 26, it was my pleasure to welcome Dr. David Manuelito as the new director of the Navajo Veterinary Management Program. His hiring ended a 2-year vacancy in the program. Dr. Manuelito brings 15 years of experience with Cedar Animal Medical Center in Gallup and training from the Thale Equine Hospital of Santa Fe. He is a graduate of Tallahatchie High School, New Mexico State University, and Colorado State University. Under Dr. Manuelito's leadership and with our MOU with the University of Arizona College of Veterinary Medicine, I look forward to young veterinarians returning home for their first 2 or 3 years after graduation to hone their veterinarian skills. Regarding the care of animals, I'd like to express special thanks to New Mexico Congresswoman Theresa Ledger Fernandez for securing $1 million for the Navajo Nation through the Congressional District spending request that will revitalize an animal shelter in Crown Point. With an estimated total cost of $2 million, the new animal shelter will serve as a model facility for animal control and veterinarians. The 24th Navajo Nation Council allocated $250,000 for shelters design and construction. With this 25th Navajo Nation Council's assistance to fund the shortfall, we can have it built as soon as possible. Navajo Environmental Protection Agency. National Priority List, Lugajage Mining District. After decades of asking and waiting, the federal EPA has last declared the Navajo Nation as a Superfund site for uranium mine cleanup. On March 14 and 15, federal officials from the U.S. EPA Region 9 in Washington visited Cove Chapter to announce it would be the first national priority listed Superfund site on Navajo. Its purpose is to clean up the community's abandoned uranium mines. I thank our honorable delegates, Amber Crotty and Brenda Jesus, for their attendance at this important meeting. On March 7th, the EPA added Lugajage Mountain Mining District to its national priorities list. After decades, Cove, Lugajage, Round Rock chapters will finally see the mines throughout the Lugajage and Carrizo Mountains sealed. This will give our people the protection against radiation exposure they have begged for over the decades with little response until now. Our Navajo Nation Washington office is addressing radiation exposure among our people through advocacy in Congress. It has led to the bipartisan passage of the Radiation Exposure Compensation Reauthorization Act in the U.S. Senate. We honor the key contributors of Navajo advocates like Leslie Begay, Phil Harrison Jr., and urge support as the bill moves to the House. I asked the council to work with my office to develop 2 Navajo Nation position statements. 1, to address the cleanup of abandoned uranium mines on the Navajo Nation, and 2, another to address the renewed uranium mining near the Navajo Nation south of the Grand Canyon. My concern is the transport of uranium ore on public highways across the Navajo Nation. Navajo EPA is working with the Coconino County Board of Supervisors and the U.S. Forest Service to receive advance warnings of any uranium ore shipments from the mine. I asked the Resource and Development Committee to pass uranium transport regulations that Navajo EPA and DOJ will have ready for approval within the next month. These regulations would allow us to restrict uranium transport on the Navajo Nation by requiring a notice and a comment period, licensing fees, bonding requirements in the case of any accidents, route restrictions, and curfews on transport hours. We are assessing the viability of litigation and different advocacy strategies at the state and federal level. ARPA. In the last several weeks, my office has been working with the Budget and Finance Committee, the Office of the Speaker, and several offices within the executive branch. We are developing a plan to ensure we optimize ARPA fiscal recovery funds that were provided to the Navajo Nation in 2021. On Friday, many delegates and the Speaker dedicated more than 6 hours to learn about the plan to optimize ARPA fiscal recovery funds, to make the funds go further than we originally imagined. To be clear, we are not taking away money from delegate regional plans. The $8.8 million per delegate will stay intact. This plan identifies which ARPA projects will stay as ARPA-funded projects to meet the December 2026 deadline. Unspent ARPA funds will be reallocated and placed into a new fund. The new fund will provide flexibility and relieve the pressure of federal deadlines. My ask to Council is that the new fund be leveraged to borrow up to $1 billion so that we can do all the ARPA envisioned projects and much, much more. This is a bold and new approach. Let's be bold and approve this concept to optimize opportunities. I ask you to support the plan and deliver legislation to my desk within a few weeks. Enterprise Resource Planning System. In the coming months, I will seek your support for a pivotal step to modernize our financial operations. We will implement a new enterprise resource planning system that will require legislative approval for the ERP contract. The current system is so old that it has become a bottleneck with inefficiencies and delays in payments, some of which have led to critical services being interrupted. Stories of unpaid invoices and missed signatures are all too common and highlight the need to modernize. With the ERP system, we expect to streamline our financial and operational processes, making them easier to use and for the first time have the ability to communicate across programs instantly and automatically. Under the leadership of Division of Human Resources Director Debbie Nez Manuel and Controller Sean McCabe, with the collaboration of key departments, we've chosen a firm to transition from our outdated Financial Management Information System, FMIS, to a robust and fully integrated ERP system. After nearly a year of work, a vendor was selected and notified last Thursday. I will need your support to approve the ERP contract so we can begin a new era of transparency, efficiency, and effectiveness to serve the Navajo people. Together, let's eliminate the financial inefficiencies that have impeded our progress for years. Navajo Department of Transportation, road projects and improvements to our roads has been my priority since coming into office. To arrive here today and get anywhere, we all use roads and highways, and the worst thing about our roads in our communities are those potholes. I've asked Department of Transportation Director Tom Platero to come up with a plan to fix potholes, and he is. In addition to building roads, NDOT is creating a systematic statistical documentation method for pothole repairs by next quarter. This last quarter, NDOT road maintenance filled 545 potholes on N12 going north, 600 potholes on N12 going south, and 955 potholes on N15. Its conservative estimate is that 2,500 potholes were filled in the last 2 months. Additionally, Navajo DOT donated 4 pallets of pothole materials to the BIA in Fort Defiance to assist with their efforts. In collaboration with NECA, last quarter, NDOT completed the Bird Springs N71 projects. 6 other projects are underway. These include 1. N35 in Sweetwater, which is 18% completed. 2. N36 in San Juan County, which will be completed in mid-May. 3. in 7054 in Pinedale, which will be completed by July. 4 in 6461 in Dennehotso, which will begin construction in July. In 12 in Wheatfields, which will begin construction in October. And 6 in 5001 in Tonalea to Gray Hills, with construction to begin in October. Getting roads built is detailed and expensive. Director Platero is working to streamline the process to get road projects from the planning to construction phases by re-examining its processes and isolating its Navajo Nation EPA compliance by outsourcing that work. This is costly. So NDOT is rebuilding its internal department with department managers so that it has the capacity to meet the needs of our communities. Within the coming months, NDOT will provide a proposal to the council requesting for road maintenance yards similar to our county and state counterparts. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen of the council, the Navajo people, our water rights teams are nearing completion on 2 water rights settlements. One is for our rights in Arizona, and the other is for our rights to the Rio San Jose and Rio Pickerel basins in New Mexico. When legislations are before this honorable body for consideration, I humbly ask for unity through your unanimous approval of these historic agreements. Securing water is not for us, but is for the generations of Navajos yet to be born. Thank you, members of the 25th Navajo Nation Council. May you have a productive spring 2024 session. I look forward to our continued collaboration and partnership to build a Navajo Nation we can all be proud of. Aheha. Ganek at your base was Anya, not Jaggy, what all biscuits on his snap. And the Kandes been Dasil Nishigi, the Quee go shibble Ganek at your best now as a snap. See Hajo, ye go date, Edo Hajo, Chiadil, Tido, Stot, here, Stotnal, so Shakan, that what Nasco day, no neither. What all in Hinan, as Zoligado, Bedin Nido, Aro Stotenly, the Never Washington, Nan Nish Hadai, Swagin, into away that, and all that. Denne best cheat that dolt it and zinnig hade she belagan and haheske to it is schwalte beneta nenegi eda hot enigi hehe da bedini donle in al tada yan nahin tegi beninachip is stamp $30 million double at the hotza the neba Washington the neba kebaka kehonit enigi anal yagi beninachip start as it $30 million double hone la peso yan nani te hohot eda aro kat tego il kill the ebeninachip johnny the ne chidaho Indo the neda peso da la chian do thoda in da kai ha de shi de ne khan da khagi eot o beninache peso de arofto alla da hotel do gouldings da hil ne gi beninache peso yan nahin tehgi joa edebe da inistro a hui gente ne shichin da hal ne khalet o la shqa do khalet o la thin khalet o la salauda lao to ni khanegi jo eat in de peso bata hil ebenina pes bahas an double dishni da khitlen del shoe an nehin jono peso etel enigi de nebe Washington te go hotel ya yat etole no be velkhla hasne aro salalt so bedet idi da peso da beche hotel enigi check da khata hat donsigi da skil no tagi da khajo le besens KCAZ ai ta ye da des Division of Social Services tan figi to khojon khadad dol nisho ye del nisho belt edol khanenigi hot do de nebe zeil in da an hin hel no beninachin san khades nesigi kheliat khado nir aro keya letso da nahat enigi asho lagajge mining district si yego hotate paisto Washington do super fund listen no aji hodina go that don nisto hajo keya alcheda do nil no aro le Washington do peson ki chhol yaigi hajo pedal di tinto hajo to asa peso sabchin da hodili a khode billah da juno tad to nisgo epin da huita arolto peson dan tehigi da bekahoda dan enigi FMIS khat enigi neba Washington al keda kadate stra the Nebanant as Lia atich ehedes on Adinda Jono Alchedo Nilha no bit the house dit a hona hot ashi Jono peson and tehigido the Neda Hoje attratedesh Neshigi peson se kesigi bail roto le no bit deal nisharo to inda shanaz Neshigi potholes which rigi yesebeshal nada hosne the quilch and nata labadi nido standards at 2500 honella alcheda itlado da in Nishigi ebe Hebedini Beshwas Anat and the Yana Chagim Di njono ben kilna has snegi alkilna annishigi hajo chia delt kegido the nepa date enigi de large date hot on njono ben kilna hasne tobe hehe da bedini beshwas anya na kagi aroshi da isanal tsagi di quarterly update na halon ben kilna has snegi hehe do hodoye the nebanant Dr. Nygren hoje na hol jiso hanen kichenesh ingido hehe kedini hodo hada so kizigi hagone Yarat
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rochelle Montoya, your Navajo Nation Vice President. I'm here on the Diné College campus in front of the Kia'ani Library today. I was invited by former Miss Navajo Nation, current employee of Diné College, Crystal Littlebin, to the NCAP festivities that are happening here on campus. If you don't know what NCAP is about, it's about the classes, the program here on campus that teaches things like weaving, arts and crafts like silversmithing, moccasin making. I'm sure there's a whole other series of classes that I am leaving out right now. But yat eto lang korodi tsehli de e yan hich hana ashle to yat e njina go eya o alto kaigi hojon go eya di nhachina da alt kaigi bania do ban kuri ya de shato kuri Haibane Kaiki Ben Taudis Netashno Eya Di Quaggy Shananish late this afternoon. Aro di for the past few days, we've been in council session with the Navajo Nation 25th Navajo Nation Council as they did their spring session. Tuesday morning, I was honored to participate with the 25th Navajo Nation Council women to honor and congratulate the former Navajo Nation women in leadership. I talked about earlier about how the first female that was elected into tribal leadership was in 1946, and the young woman's name was Lilica, and she came from, or she represented the communities of Counselor in Ojo Encino. And this is from my home community, or from my home agency of Eastern Navajo Nation. And I'm so proud that we have that legacy within our Navajo Nation, within the Eastern Agency, within the area that I am from. As everyone knows, I am the first female to ever be elected into one of the top offices of the Navajo Nation. And I know that what Miss Lilica felt when she ran for office and what she wanted to accomplish and what she did accomplish is always in the hearts and minds of all of us that want to be in tribal leadership, which is to be here for the people and for the people. So that was a wonderful experience, a wonderful opportunity for me to be invited by the council delegates to join them in this celebration and honoring of these women. And that was on Tuesday that I was able to participate with that. Excuse me. And then we had a lot of our high school basketball champions that came to the Window Rock area. They were honored in the council session. They came by the office of the president and vice president and met with some of our staff there. I was able to touch base with a few of the girls, or one of the girls from Navajo Prep. I took a picture with her and her Dejiaja. Her Dejiaja was the first one that I met in the lobby. She was very excited. I was excited to see her. I do my best to encourage our younger generation to start working towards a career in leadership, because we need each and every one of you to continue what our ancestors, what our elders started, and what we are carrying on today. Of course, I'm talking in reference to the positivity that tribal leadership gives to our Navajo people. We are here to make sure that a lot of the things that we do are for the people and that it's in a positive way for our communities. And so again, listen in your tribal politics classes, listen to your grandmas and grandpas as they discuss what has happened in our past and how we can learn from it if it's in a negative way, and how we can move forward, and how the communities have moved forward from that point on. But again, I am Rochelle Montoya. I'm humbled and honored to be your Navajo Nation Vice President, the 11th in line. Right before me was Vice President Myron Lizer. Right before him was Vice President Nez, who eventually became President of our Navajo Nation. And so just to give a little bit of history on who has filled this seat before I have. And I hope that from this point on, the person that fills this seat are, no matter what, male or female, that we're here to be here for our people. Again, make sure and start getting ready for the summer. Get some books together, read all summer, exercise, be out there, but please be careful with the different obstacles that are out there, as far as animals that are out there that can try and hurt you, or individuals that are out there that are trying to hurt our people. Watch out for one another, look out for one another, listen out for one another. And please, everyone, be kind to one another. We don't know what anybody has going on in their lives, and your smile to them that day as you walk past them may be something that lifts them up to where they need to be, so that their day can continue to, or their day can go better, and their lives can continue to be better. But most of all, everyone, most of all, be kind to yourselves. In case in eol in so dezen higansa agin hinanish linigi bada holiado hojongo ebenash nasna de katolechik headline. And again, Dene College, Staley, Arizona, where they have campuses across the Navajo Nation. Look at the classes that they have, learn some of our traditional skills, our traditional talents, and let's keep those alive also, Shike. So have a wonderful afternoon. Hagone.
Good afternoon. Yat nolsco adon dashik doshidene danollinigi nolsco amasando che dolchiniaja. And those of you that are listening to the Facebook Live this afternoon, I welcome everyone. It's a beautiful afternoon here from Window Rock. My name is Sarah Slim. I'm giving the weekly Facebook Live on behalf of my department, which falls under the executive branch, the Navajo Hopi Land Commission Office. And we're a department that falls within OPVP. And certainly we do work in collaboration with also the legislative, the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, which is consisted of 9 council delegates that represent the region from Navajo partition land, former Bennett Freeze, and also the Hopi partition land, and also new land, which is not Atzin. I really appreciate the opportunity when the OPVP provides these opportunities to showcase our department, because we have staffing within our own department that work really hard to ensure that we're right in line with what we had budgeted for, our mission and vision, our plan of operation. From the Navajo Hopi Land Commission. And the current updates that I want to provide is in lieu of the ARPA funds. I know the Navajo Hopi Land Commission had previously received $15.5 million of those funds. Our staff is currently working in conjunction with our oversight, also with respect to the Navajo Hopi Land Commission. We've been tasked with ensuring the chapter the internal listing, the beneficiaries that will be receiving homes. In a draft, I would like to kind of give you a sneak peek in terms of what those funds that were allocated to the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, which is the $14 million. And preliminary forecasting, we did budget for at least 91 homes. It's going to purchase 2 to 3 bedroom homes, and we have those preliminary costs configured at 150,000 square feet. A lot of these reportings are given to our oversight, which is all the commission, the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, and also the OPVP department. And out of that, one biggest information is that we're tasked with ensuring Navajo Hopi Land Commission, Ajahaz Anigi, who are the beneficiaries that are going to be serviced with these homes. I've tasked my staff to really strategically deploy themselves, and right now they're starting to work with the chapters, the 23 chapters, to ensure those individuals. Some of them, we have their needs on file, and it's always important to work collaboratively with the chapters. They're going home to home, and to ensure that we're doing those due diligence to really populate and extract the neediest of the needs that will be eligible for these homes. And also moving forward, the Navajo Hopi Land Commission in the month of February also approved the Net Relocation Funds Manual. So we're also in that policy, it specifies that the Navajo Hopi Land Commission office, which is our operation, we're charged with administering the manual. And so therefore, one of the things that we're also working on is developing an application that's congruent with the policies that were recently approved by our oversight. And if you begin to break those numbers down, the net relocation funds, account, the controller's office, $111,400. If you break those, if you look at it in terms of financial assistance and also the eligibility criteria, housing gets 55% of those funds. And if you break that down, we're looking at 61,260. And right now, we do have a lot of beneficiaries that have come through our office requesting for resources. So right now, my staff is working with that information that we have, and we're doing outreach and double checking with the chapters to ensure that we're really looking at those names and those beneficiaries that will become eligible, that are deemed eligible for these resources. So there's 61,270. So by the time, so we're probably going to really start administering these the first part of May. Don't lay throughout the end of September. So that opportunity is available. So we're fine-tuning the list internally. And also with respect to infrastructure, infrastructure has 20%, and that equates to $22,280. These relocatees that they're eligible to access these funds. And what the infrastructure can do is it can you can use that to purchase solar power, or you can apply that to electricity if you need help with running electricity to your home service line, and then water and wastewater system. And also cost sharing is also encouraged with federal, tribal, and other fundings. And that's where it's important that our office is working in conjunction with the chapters to see what their initiatives are as far as working with a lot of these beneficiaries that do apply for these funds. The Okunet scholarship is important. We're also developing the application. Also, once the application is posted, I'm welcoming the general public, those beneficiaries that fall under the relocation. You're more than welcome to come to our office and pick up a packet, so that way you can begin to take a closer look at the policy and to really understand what the eligibility criterias are. But as far as scholarship is concerned, we have 10%, and out of that 111,000, that equates to 11,140. College or university students are eligible. Also, the vocational trade schools or organized sanctioned educational immersion programs. You're certainly more than welcome to apply on behalf of your children. The application criteria, that's all included into the application that we're devising. Just the personal information, the Navajo Nation citizenship verification, and also the important key thing is also to understand that the way the policy is developed, we have to vet a lot of these beneficiaries back through ONER, so that way they provide us clearance to deem that these individuals are eligible. The relocation funds, the infrastructure has housing has these funds can go towards rehabilitation, renovation, or minor repairs within your home structure. On the roofing or weatherization, those projects are deemed eligible, and temporary shelter or lodging due to natural disaster, but you have to provide that documentation in order to be eligible. Also, replacement housing after destruction by fire or flood. So these numbers, that's basically set aside for this fiscal year, which is October 1st through September, the end of September 2024. With the new fiscal year, we're going to have some different numbers to work with within that fiscal year. So on behalf of the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, budget and finance. I know that the funds management was approved in 2022. And then finally this year, the Navajo Hopi Land Commission, the current seat at 25th Council, finally approved our overall resolution to allow our office to begin to administer these funds. And also provided the update on the ARPA. We're now really aggressively moving forward in terms of doing the assessment. That way we're populating the names of individuals in the Dihuan modular trailers. We're beginning to we're looking at the numbers. We're going to populate the names. And as we're moving into the summer, we should have a better idea working with the chapters in terms of who's going to be served with those trailers. And then our escrow projects, we did hire one personnel that's covering for Western Navajo. She's been boots on the ground. Chapter has I know the escrow funds were given to the chapters with business units and TAC back in from 2014, and I think because the funds that sit there, chapters I know they lack a lot of capacity, and for those reasons, the Navajo Hopi Land Commission's been very coherent in terms of making partnership with the chapters, and that's where we have a part of our planning is $250,000 supplemental that we're running through, and it's going to go before the various committees that oversee the Navajo Hopi Land Commission. But the commission themselves has provided us that supporting resolution. So what the $250,000 is going to do is we're going to go ahead and utilize those funds to hire on carpenters and carpenter leads to be able to meet the needs of those home repairs. The escrow funds, those funds can only be applied to home repairs. So, and that's much needed, and that's where we're moving right along to ensure that we're meeting the current needs of the chapter to ensure that those funds are drawn down timely. Chapters within the former Bennett Freeze, and also we're starting to move forward. I know that back in February, one of the Navajo Hopi Land Commissioners has requested that we come together with the commissioners to do a work session on projects that are sitting on the books of these commission members. So, and that's hopefully by the next time I give an update, I should be able to provide you guys a high-level summation of where the chapters are with respect to chapters that we can work in conjunction with. And with that, I do appreciate the Office of the Navajo Office, Relocation Office, and also OPVP for providing us this time to provide an update. And thank you again. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Jim. I'm the Executive Director of the Physical Recovery Fund Office. Janine Schlo, Tony Buses, Tony Buses, Chi, my days, that's a chi. I work for the Physical Recovery Fund Office. We are separated because of lack of office space in Window Rock. So we have 3 sub-offices. One of our sub-offices is an office by Subway in San Benito. We have some staff there. Our monitoring reporting section is there. And we even have some of our IT staff there. Then we have some staff in the Admin 2 building on the first floor next to Department of Health. I have our finance section there. And then we have the double wide trailer next to the airport. And that's our admin staff. And again, some of our IT and our engineers are located there. So if you need to find us, that's where we are located. I like to say thank you to my team members, to the ones that work for the Physical Recovery Fund Office and all the offices that we work with. I like to say thank you for all the work that you put in. And then what we are here for is to see all this $201 billion money that we got from the federal government for ARPA funds. We would like to see all that allocated and spent. When we received the ARPA funds from the federal government, they came in as American Rescue Plan Act. When it came to Navajo Nation, we renamed it to the Physical Recovery Fund. And that's why our office is the Physical Recovery Fund Office. And that's what we named it then. Then we allocated all the money. And out of that money, $211 million was given to the delegate region plans. And we help a lot with that. So we had to work with the chapters and Division of Community Development. What we do is we get all the expenditure plans, we get the budget forms, and we get the project budget summary. We put all those together, make sure all the amounts are correct, make sure it's all signed correctly, and we submit those to DOJ to get the initial eligibility determination. Now, when we're doing that, we want to see what these projects are, make sure they're COVID related, because there's categories that we receive from from U.S. Treasury to see if these fit into those categories. So that's what we work on. And then we get those back. Some of the chapters, some of them are further along. Some of them have already allocated their $8.8 million per delegate region. And then some of them are still in the process. So we have different levels that we're currently working with all these chapters. And there's even entities that are applying. So we're currently helping the entities as well. There's some entities that have applied. So they're part of the delegate region 8.8. We also have some central administrative support costs, and we also have some divisions within the Navajo Nation that applied for these funds as well. So we're also working with them. Now, our goal is to see the fulfillment of all these projects. If this chapter A wants to build a warehouse, or chapter B wants to make so many homes or build a new chapter house, we want to see that done. That's what we want to see with these funds and all this fund source that's coming in. Now, with the money that's coming in, chapters would be subject to audit, but the audit would only apply if they spend $750,000 per year of the federal funds, and ARPA is federal funds. So if they spend ARPA funds of whatever federal funds they might have, and it equals over $750,000 per year, they would be subject to an audit. Now we coordinate with DCD and the chapters, like I was saying. So we do work a lot with the physical recovery staff at DCD, and we also work with DOJ to get the initial eligibility determinations. What we are currently working on is a new office building in Sabonito. We are working on getting the land. So right now we have to work with the Navajo Land Commission, and we have to get that land set aside for our new building. And all along with the new building, there are parking lots, office furniture, and all the utility connections, the water and the power line. So we're working on that now. We're hoping to be into the new office building by September. So we'll see a groundbreaking when that happens. Currently, we have positions open. We have positions open for accountants, for contract compliance officers, or program project specialists. So we do have openings if you want to go to our website. Our website is frf.navajo-nsn.gov. And then you can always call us at 928-309-5532. That goes to our front desk if you have any questions. And then we also are looking to hire more people to fund our office. We are here until December 31st, 2026. We're hoping to extend that longer, but currently we are here for hopefully another 2 years with the Physical Recovery Fund office. And we're available if you have any questions. You can always visit our website. And I'd just like to say to all you Facebook listeners, to everybody on today, just thank you for everything that you do. And everything we do is to benefit the Navajo Nation and the Navajo people. And I would like to say congratulations to all the seniors, high school seniors graduating, to the college graduates. Congratulations on all your hard work, and thank you. So go class of 2024. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tico Charlie. I'm of the Sislotni Batotni, the Tobaha Telejini clan. And I'm the Navajo Nation Telecommunication Commissioner, Regulatory Commissioner, Executive Director. And I wanted to update you on some stuff here. And our biggest thing right now that we're looking at was the ACP, which is the Affordable Connectivity Program. But the ACP on there was not making a lot of traction, so they're going to discontinue it. There's a small margin still sitting in the Congress halls right now, and we have Yvette Clark, who's from a Democrat from New York, filed on Tuesday, or actually about 2 weeks ago, to force a House floor vote on the program, and which would infuse the imperial funds with $7 billion. And Yvette Clark, sitting in the committee, currently has 223 co-sponsors in the House, including 21 Republicans. That's more than the bare majority of 218 required to bring the bill forward. But the petition will need at least that many signatures and set those gears in motion. So right now they have a small margin to go in to see if they can get that extended on there. And we want to see if we can get that extended to the end of the year. The reason why I'm really pushing this as much as I can, because it does affect us. the Navajo Nation without the ACP will lose about $3 million a month, and it accumulates all the way out to 350 million a year. That's why I'm really pushing this as much as I can on there. And I did meet with different congressmen and trying to push, I guess, sway their ways of getting into the Congress and try to push this bill through. So that's where we are right now. But of course, with the political things that are going on up in Washington, D.C., everything came to a crawling halt right now. And the next thing I wanted to bring up today was I met with FCC at a summit, at NTTA summit in Chandler, Arizona, and it was 3 days. It was really, really interesting because this is the first time ever I've seen that many people there, and there was over 700 people, and they had the whole place, the whole one big floor, just nothing but full of vendors. The good thing about this was a lot of the FCC and different governmental portions in Washington, D.C. came out to meet with the people on there. So I got to sit down with the FCC again, and we started talking about the mapping on there, what they call the broadband service locations on there. And this is our fifth time we're going in to redo the mapping again. But this time we sat with them and asked them, why is it that all the states, all the tribe are having such a hard time? What I didn't know, and I found out later, was the Navajo Nation and another tribe with the Pueblos are the only two that really are pushing the mapping portion on there. And they did acknowledge that in one of their platforms out with the people there. So it really, really kind of beefed up our analogy of trying to get the FCC mapping on there. And that's quite a bit of money that we're after. And that mapping is going to help that quite a bit. The other portion of this was the FCC actually did come out and did acknowledge the Navajo Nation. And they told everybody there that the Navajo Nation has the best mapping system right now. So they were very excited with that. And we have the different states working with us. We also have the different, like New Mexico, that was working with us on there, and we're helping them with their mapping system on there. So we communicate with everybody across the board on there to make sure we're all on the same table. The other portion of this on there, the Department of, the NTTIA or NTIA portion announced today that they received 160 application and funding requests, which totals more than $2.64 billion for a second notice of opportunity. And this is for tribal broadband connectivity program. And this is from the funding from the Internet for All initiatives, a key component of President Biden's Investing in the American Agenda. And it will help lead direct tribal households and business to high-speed internet service planned for the future and infrastructure investment. And upgrading network equipment, NTIA has made available approximately $980 million for this second round. And they asked us if we had applied. We say, yes, this is partly why we're pushing this mapping system even further, because it's going to help with the rural addressing, the 911. We got everything that's working with us on that. The other portion that we had at that conference on there, and by the way, I did have to give a little talk on it, was how do you build for future and transform your community for generations? And part of that was, how do they talk to the community members? And I'd explain that you just don't go to the government and try to talk to them. You have to go out to the people, see what they're really going through, see what's in their home, how they're using the internet on there, if their equipment can accept what is put there. And, everybody comes up and say, my cell phone don't work. Why? And if you go in there with another portion on there, another cell phone, it works. So it's just a matter of getting the service providers to communicate together and work together. Instead of reinventing the wheel, they can do that on there. The other portion we talked to and it really explained to them is you have to get consent from the people, the chapter, and then from the tribe on there to do this. You just don't go in there and start hooking up things and then telling the people we're sent here to do this. We had so many complaints of that. We had to go back out and tell the vendors or whoever the service providers were, discontinue that right now. Did you get permission from the homeowners? And a lot of them said they didn't. So we had to go back and have them refix that on there. And we went through the chapter on there. So I asked the chapter, do you have your resolution or anything on there? So all tribal nations have this because this is very unique with the tribal nation and understanding their cultural. You just don't go and start demanding a lot of things on there. You have respect for them. And that's one of the main things that even all tribal nations at that conference were bringing up on there. How do you talk to the people on there? And the biggest thing I was really happy to hear was get those people out of Washington, get them out of their office, have them come out here, have them see what they're really dealing with instead of just going out on the mapping and looking at it. You can't make good decisions like that on there unless you see what you're dealing with out here. Let them feel what it's like to haul water. Let them feel what it's like to go out there and chop wood. Let them feel all those things on there. Walk miles and see how far they get on there. Take away their cell phones. Let them see what they can do without it. And these are one of the questions that were brought up. So it really helped quite a bit. And all the Indian tribes were very happy to hear that. And they said, yeah, why can't you bring them out? So it was very, very good to hear that from all Indian nations. And right now, the Navajo Nation is still well ahead of all of them on there. So they're kind of looking at us for guidance and how to direct a lot of things. So we're talking with the FCC and the what they call ONAP, the Office of Native Legislation Affairs Group up there in Washington, D.C. So they're working with us now, and we're trying to get them to understand a lot more, but they're willing to come out. So we're going to be working on that. So I just wanted to update you guys on that. And again, you heard it from my coworkers on there. And I just wanted to say congratulations to all the graduates for 2024. It's good to see that out there. And there was one that went out in the Gallup prom. The power went out. So we had to wait for another half hour or so for power to come back up. But again, I apologize for that. But it wasn't us. It wasn't me. It was the power company that it went out. It just so happens, coincidental things that happen. But again, everybody's working together. And again, be safe out there and watch yourselves on there. Thank you.